So, you ever feel like you're the only person on the planet who hasn't seen Stranger Things? Or hey, maybe you have, but you just need a super fast refresh before the final season drops. Well, you're in luck. Let's do this. Here's your 5-minute guide to absolutely everything you need to know.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. At its heart, the premise is super simple.
It's all about a group of kids, just growing up in the 80s in this seemingly totally normal small town called Hawkins. Life is basically just Dungeons and Dragons, bike rides, and talking over walkie-talkies. Pretty idyllic, right?
Well, of course, there's a catch. Because just outside of town, completely hidden from everyone, there's this secret government lab. And they've been messing with some very strange stuff. And in the process, opened a door.
And that right there is the million-dollar question. The question that launches this whole crazy story. A door. To where?
Well, the answer to that question is a place that's going to change Hawkins and everyone in it forever. It's a door to what the kids eventually name the Upside Down. And no, we're not talking about another planet. It's way creepier than that. The best way to think about it is like a dark, twisted echo of our world. It's a mirror dimension, but everything is dead, decaying, and it's filled with monsters. And the scariest part? It's secretly connected right to our world, right to Hawkins.
So, how does this sleepy little town even find out about this horrifying reality next door? Well, it all kicks off with two key ingredients: a monster and a girl.
All right, here's the super quick roadmap of how all this chaos goes down, season by season. First, a boy just vanishes. Then, the Upside Down starts to actually spread. After that, believe it or not, the Russians get involved and reopen the gate. And finally, we meet the real mastermind behind everything.
So, Season 1. It all starts when one of the kids, Will Byers, disappears into thin air on his bike ride home. His friends and family are obviously freaking out, searching everywhere. But instead of finding Will, they find someone else. This weird, quiet girl with a shaved head, who they call 11. And get this, she can move things with her mind. And yep, you guessed it, she just busted out of that secret lab.
And we find out pretty quick what, or rather who, took Will. It's a monster. The kids, being the nerds they are, name it after a beast from D&D, the Demogorgon. And this thing is pure nightmare fuel. A faceless predator that can literally rip open holes in reality to jump between our world and its.
The whole season builds to this epic showdown. 11 pushes her powers to the absolute limit, faces down the Demogorgon, and just disintegrates it to save her friends. But the power surge is so massive, she vanishes right along with it. Gone, and everyone thinks she's dead. But here's the thing. You don't just defeat one monster from another dimension and call it a day. Oh no, that wasn't the end. It wasn't even close. It was just the beginning. The Upside Down was just getting started with Hawkins.
See, even though they got Will back, he didn't exactly come back alone. He was basically a Trojan horse, something from the Upside Down hitched a ride inside him, creating this psychic link to something so much bigger and badder.
And that bigger, badder thing has a name: the Mind Flayer. Look, the Demogorgon was just a hungry animal. This is the General. It's this massive, shadowy, spider-like entity that's basically the hive mind brain of the entire Upside Down. And it sinks its claws into Will's trauma to start its real invasion of Hawkins.
So this whole Mind Flayer thing actually plays out over 2 whole seasons. In Season 2, it possesses Will and uses him to send an army of Demodogs after everyone. But, plot twist, 11 comes back and slams the gate shut. Then, in Season 3, some secret Russian scientists build a machine right under the new mall, because of course they do, and rip the gate open again. The Mind Flayer comes back with a vengeance, this time building itself a giant, disgusting body out of, well, melted people. The kids close the gate again, but this time it's at a massive cost. 11's powers? Totally gone.
Okay, so monsters battled, Russians foiled, gates closed twice. You'd think these kids could finally catch a break, right? Nope. So wrong. Because a new threat is coming. And this one changes everything we thought we knew.
This new big bad's name is Vecna, and he is a whole different level of terrifying. He's not just some monster, he's a psychological predator. He hunts down teenagers who are struggling with trauma, gets inside their heads, and uses their own worst fears against them to kill them in these really horrific ways.
And this leads to the biggest, most insane twist of the entire show. Ready for this? Vecna isn't just another monster from the Upside Down. He started out as a human. In fact, he was number 1, the very first kid experimented on at the Hawkins lab. And years ago, a much younger 11 fought him, and in a massive show of force, she blasted him into another dimension, accidentally creating the Upside Down, and transforming him into the monster he is now. Yeah, mind blown.
So you see how this just changes the whole game, right? The Demogorgon, the Mind Flayer, they were just beasts. They were soldiers. Vecna, he's the 5-star general who's been pulling the strings all along. He's smart, he's strategic, and most importantly, this is personal for him. He has a serious grudge against 11 and, well, the entire human race.
And here's the kicker. For the first time, the heroes don't win. Vecna's plan actually succeeds. He creates 4 gates which slice through Hawkins and merge into one giant fiery canyon, literally ripping a hole between our world and the Upside Down. The barrier is gone.
And all of that, it brings us right here, to the edge of the final battle. Because this was never just about surviving some monsters. This is a full-blown war for the soul of Hawkins, and maybe the entire world.
When you boil it all down, here's what the story is really about. Some scientists in a lab messed up and let a terrible evil into our world. And ever since, the only thing that's been able to fight it is just a group of kids. And their real superpower, it was never telekinesis. It's their friendship. It's how they stick together. And now, all of that is about to face its ultimate test.
So here we are. The Upside Down is literally pouring into Hawkins. 11 finally has her powers back, but Vecna is still out there, wounded but not defeated. The stage is set, the final battle is coming, and it really all comes down to one question. Who's going to win?